I was listening to something, man. One of these podcasts on YouTube, um, and they were talking about actually it wasn't even a podcast. I think it was some show, and they were going on about North Africa is leaving the rest of Africa behind, or rather, is they termed it Sub-Saharan Africa behind, and it caught my attention. Would say, why is it that those northern parts of Africa are referred to as North Africa, and then other parts of Africa are labeled as Sub-Saharan Africa. Where did that come from? Even the term, Sub-Saharan Africa. Where did such a term come from, and what does it even mean? You know, um, I'm from the southern part of Africa, so as soon as you talk about Sahara or Saharan or Sahel, that's far away from me. I think I didn't even know where that was until I finished high school. So, so I did some digging, to find out what this Sub-Saharan Africa term means, and the Sahara is it's that desert area that separates those North African countries from the West African countries and East African countries. So that there's a day that's like almost like in a perfect line. That's the separator. But how the term has been used, North Africa is leaving Sub-Saharan Africa behind. You know, or whenever they talk African politics or African sport, it's used in almost every single African conversation you can think of. Sub-Saharan Africa, North Africa, and the, you know, in this time where we Pan Africanism is a big thing, or it seems like it's becoming a real thing. Terms like that, they leaving they're causing more harm than good. They're causing more harm than good, because first of all, we're not talking when we talk North Africa and Sub-Saharan Africa, we're not talking about geography there. It simply means the way it seems for an average mind, you know, the average person, me, you know, um, when you say North Africa and Sub-Saharan Africa, it seems like the rest of Africa is below North Africa, and it makes it seem as if like the rest of Africa is below, and not below in the terms of that part is north, and then the rest, but below as in like below, you know, and that just it brings down the diversity, because if you actually find out where the term comes from, it's like it has like deep colonial and racial roots, where I think people coming from overseas, they used to refer as the brown colored people. So you're not Africans, you're Moroccans, you're Egyptians. They used to refer to them as North Africans, and then the rest of Africa, where you find the Black Africans, as Sub-Saharan Africa. So it seems like it was more of a thing to refer to the what you call the lighter skinned Africans versus the Black Africans, and that's where the term comes from. If uh, from the digging that I did, that's what I could find. And even the Sahel as a region, it was that desert thing. It was not really a divider per se, because countries that border Morocco, I think Algeria also, and even Egypt, those countries have always been trading with one another. It's actually also the same people in some cases. So you'd find that people from Mali, um, Niger, they've always been trading with people from, you suppose, North Africa. So that whole desert thing was never really a divider. So why are we using it as a divider if it was never a divider? What are we exactly dividing? Are we dividing people? Are we dividing ideologies? Because now this thing, it goes back to that divide and conquer thing. I don't know if you guys have heard of, or you my friend, they have heard of the divide and conquer uh, idea, thinking, strategy. Yeah. So yeah, man, this whole thing of, at a time where Africa is trying by all means to become one. We're seeing the AFCON. I think 2 months from now there's going to be the WAFCON, which is the female version of the AFCON. It's a soccer tournament for those who don't know. So soccer tournament, football tournament, depends where you're from, what you call it. But yeah, man, at a time when, you know, Africa is really trying to solidify and become this one thing, I feel like terms like referring to the rest of Africa, or Africa having these little terms, that we don't know where they came from. They're not even made by us Africans. We didn't come up with these terminologies. Yeah, I think they're just taking us back. They're taking us back. But anyways, I'd like to get what you guys think, and if you have like any other information to share as to where these type of things come from. And another point, before I forget, even in this supposed North African countries, there's a lot of black people, in those countries, and and it's not like, from what I'm hearing, from what I can see, it's not like they come from other parts of Africa. They are the indigenous people there. Also, I'm not saying the lighter skinned Africans are not indigenous people there, but um, it's not just a black and white thing. I think this thing is deeper than that. But yeah, leave your thoughts in the comments, and yeah, I would like to hear what you guys think.